Welcome to Madrid Reviews. This is your host, Chris Madrid, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about 28 years later. Let's get to the video now, yo. Alright, y'all, let's get into this. So, 28 years later is a great movie. Am I the only one who thinks this movie should have been released 28 years after the release of 28 Days Later? That came out 2002, and 28 years later, this one came out this year, 2025. Should it have been released 2030? Who knows? Nah, because I don't want to wait 5 years for that. I'm glad we got it now, because this was a damn good movie. This is a great legacy horror sequel that completely justifies its existence, as it's terrifying and a lot of fun. Danny Boyle, who also directed 28 Days Later, did a fantastic job directing this movie. And, he did a great job of making it just as good as the first film in the franchise. I still like 28 Days Later, but this one's good nonetheless. The writing is great in this film, as the story is great, and the world building is very good, and it spans on the world and lore, of this film franchise. 28 years later manages to be more violent and more scary than 28 Days Later. Even though I think the story is more consistent in 28 Days Later, but 28 years later is still good nonetheless. I definitely did enjoy the violence intensity that this movie brings to the table, as it's scary and creepy at times, It's got some great action throughout. I also like how this film takes a different approach and tone in the second half of the film, because the first half and the second half are almost like two different movies. It definitely takes an unexpected turn, and we get this very thought-provoking and psychological film about death, along with the action. It goes even deeper in the second half. That's what I really appreciate about it. I think audiences will be pleased with this movie, as it's got a balance of both crowd-pleasing fun and art house weirdness, as it's a pretty weird movie at times, and shows much more nudity, in particular penises, than I expected it. I did not want to see that, but I guess that's what this film wanted you to see. Whatever. But the acting is phenomenal in this film, as both Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Jodie Comer give great performances. The standout performance in this film, though, is, the kid who plays Spike, Alfie Williams. He carries this film. He's the main character and does a terrific job. Ralph Fiennes comes in the film later on, but he makes every one of his scenes count, as, he gives a great performance as well. The cinematography looks great in this film. Even though it's entirely shot on an iPhone, it still looks great and, has very eerie and haunting visuals. The production design is great in this film, as there's some great set pieces and locations used throughout. Visual effects look amazing, as there's some great, CGI, that's used pretty well, and makes the gore really pop out. This is a gory film. The score is great and unsettling, but I think it's the sound design that makes this film very creepy and weird. That creepy, speech or sound or noise that's played in the trailer. It's played in this movie, and good thing, because it makes this movie fucking creepy. The editing is used in a very creative and hyperactive way, which with making some of the kills really stand out, and stick with you. And it's a film that has great pacing, as, it uses, this 2-hour runtime very well. Overall, 28 Years Later is a great horror film, and I had a great time watching this film, and I'm excited for the sequels to come, and I recommend checking it out. I didn't know, but they have, the next film to come out. It's supposed to come out in January 2026, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see that. I give 28 Years Later an A-. We're eating really good watching this movie. In and Out, Chick-fil-A, Raising Cane's type shit. Alright, y'all, so that is the end of the video. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment on whether you have seen this movie or excited to see it. And if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button alert to know when I drop a new review. Appreciate you all for watching. See you on the next one. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night. Whatever time you're watching this, which one's your favorite? Is it 28 Years Later, 28 Days, 28 Weeks? Which one is your favorite in the franchise? Mine's still 28 Days, but thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch me talk about movies. Thank you. Adios.